Most people think wrapping ribs makes them better, but what if that's actually why your ribs turn to mush? Today I'm testing it. Two racks, same wrap, same smoker. The only difference, one gets wrapped, one doesn't. And by the end, you'll see why one rack falls apart and the other one comes out looking like perfect barbecue. Let's see which one wins. If your ribs come soft and mushy out of the smoker, it's not the ribs. It's the one step that almost everybody follows. So stay with me today and I'll show you how to get perfection when we're talking about smoked ribs. Welcome back. Today we're making pork ribs. So today we're gonna be making two different racks, and the binder will be the same, the wrap will be the same. But the main difference will be what happens mid-cook. Please stay tuned so you can see exactly how to cook ribs that are gray but not mushy. So we're gonna start by removing this membrane on the back of these ribs. And then for that, we're gonna use a butter knife, which is the easiest way to get under that skin here at the beginning. And we're gonna need a piece of paper towel. And then I'm gonna grab it and pull it just like this. Okay, like this. I'm gonna repeat the process. Grab and pull. And there you go. We have, so for a binder, we're gonna use a light coat of olive oil on both racks. Like I said, this smoke, it will be consistent. The only thing that will change will be the way we treat these racks mid-cook. So again, a light coat of olive oil just to allow the wrap to stick to our ribs. And then this is again, olive oil is kind of a neutral binder, as then it will not add any more moisture, which again, we don't need that in our ribs unless you want them to end up being mushy. And then it will allow the wrap to stick to our ribs. And for our wrap today, we're gonna use My Time Madness Sweet Chipotle. And My Time Madness is straight from PEI Canada. If you wanna upgrade your pantry, get the wraps and sauces, use my link below. You get a discount of 10% using that discount code. Let's apply an even coat on this rack on both sides. Because now that we removed that piece of leather, pressure will adhere to it. Repeat the process here. Make sure everything is covered. Not so good, guys. I'll tell you that. And let's talk about fuel. Today I'm using lumberjack pellets, apple blend, because pork don't need heavy smoke. They need clean smoke. And apple gives that slightly sweet flavor that will not overpower the meat. And more importantly, it will burn clean because it's lumberjack. And if you really like the bold smoke flavor, find a lumberjack dealer near you in the link below and get the real stuff. You're not going to regret it. I'm loading the hopper with lumberjack pellets, clean, neutral smoke, so the ribs speak for themselves. Phase 1 is all about structure. I'm running the smoker at 225 degrees with super smoke on, so the ribs build bark before they start to tenderize. And it's time to put these ribs in. Both racks are going on the smoker exactly the same way. Same wrap, same pellets, same temperature. This first phase is where the ribs start building bark and structure. Pellet smokers already run a bit humid, which means we have to be careful not to overdo the moisture later. Right now, we're just letting the smoke do its job. While the ribs build bark in the smoker, I'm putting together a quick glaze to finish them later. For our glaze today, we're gonna be melting some butter and we're gonna be mixing it with our My Time Madness super sauce, which is gonna be the hero for our glaze today. I'm keeping this simple, just sauce and a little melted butter, so it brushes on smooth and finishes the ribs without hiding the bark. Smells great, I love it. Add some more sauce. So 3 hours in, and this is what's gonna make a difference now between the two racks of ribs. So on this one, I'm gonna wrap in foil. So to follow the traditional 3-2-1 method, right? So here we're gonna add butter, then some honey, a little bit more from our sauce from My Time Madness, And last but not least, of course, because we need moisture, a little bit of our apple juice. Okay, now we're gonna wrap this tight. So we keep all this moisture and humidity inside. We're gonna wrap it pretty tight. And then we're gonna put it inside.
The traditional method. This is the step most people follow, thinking it makes ribs better. But inside that foil, all that moisture turns the cook into braising. And on a pellet smoker, that's exactly how ribs start losing their texture. We're sitting at about 187 degrees internal, which means the ribs are almost there. This is the point where I like to start finishing them with a light glaze.
It's time to apply some glaze to our ribs here.
Now I'm brushing on a light glaze. This isn't meant to drown the ribs.
This works.
It's just a thin layer to add shine and a little extra flavor, while the bark stays intact. Sauce should finish ribs, not save.
Great. And then we're gonna pull out our ribs here. While our perfect rack gets that glaze tacky, we're gonna open this guy here and we're gonna check it. Look at this. They smell good. Woo. It's time to take our rack out.
This rack stayed unwrapped the whole time. The bark held, the fibers stay intact, and the ribs finished exactly the way they should. Tender ribs, clean smoke, and simple technique. If this helped, hit subscribe for more pellet smoker cooks.
Okay, so for rack number 8, which is the one that we didn't apply the wrap on it. So let's see how this looks like. First of all, let's look at it. So it bends without the bone falling off the meat. And look at this color, it's beautiful. Let's just cut in here.
This is what properly cooked ribs should look like. Notice how the knife slides cleanly between the bones without the meat falling apart. That means the fibers stayed intact during the cook. When ribs are done right, they should hold their shape on the board, with the bark still on the outside. You're looking for a gentle bend and a clean cut, not meat that collapses or shreds. That's the difference between tender ribs and over-braised ribs on a pellet smoker. Same ribs, same smoker, just a different technique.
Okay. Looks great. Look at these ribs. So, if we look at this, look at the consistency on this one. Let's see how this tastes. My God, the texture is perfect. So this is what you're looking for. So, let's open up our second rack, the one that we put on aluminum foil, following the 3-2-1 method. I can tell you it smells good. Look at the amount of steam coming off. Unnecessary steam. And look at this. Full of the bone. Oh, I cannot even properly handle it properly. Let me get rid of all this mess. Oh my God. So right here, guys, you can see this is almost falling off the bones. So this rack, again, look at it's almost falling apart, guys. This is the problem when you follow the
3-2-1 method.
This is the difference, like fall of the bone and the consistency is not there. Like a little mushy here. When you compare it to this one here. So you don't need a knife for this, but let's try it. It tastes good. It's just too soft. Compare to this here. That's it. This is the difference. Again, I cannot even hold them in my hands.
And here's the difference. The ribs on the left were wrapped and the meat just falls apart. But the rack on the right kept its structure. the bark stays set and the fibers held together. That's the difference between ribs that are falling off the bone and ribs that are properly cooked barbecue.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. And if you want to see more smoking and barbecue recipes on a weekly basis, hit that subscribe and like buttons. And don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified every week when I post a new video. See you in the next one.